Hello, 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 everybody. It is Jennifer Hart here of the Connected Show. I guess that's what I'm calling it now. If you don't know me, I am a connector. I connect people that are seeking change, growth, personal development on a path of spirituality to the events, resources, tools, information, and the other people who can help to support and guide you on your journey. And I'm super excited because I am having an amazing guest today. We're going to be talking about money. Who doesn't love talking about money, right? We all love it. We all have it. We want more of it, maybe. I mean, I know I do. I can't speak for you. But I am excited to share with our new, it's actually a new connection for me, and I'm super excited. So I will share real quickly that I have launched the Connected Soul Network membership. Right now, only the guides membership is open, and that's for anyone that's a healer, a coach, maybe you're a therapist, any type of practitioner, anyone who leads people in their journeys of their personal development and bettering themselves, and also supporting business roles that can help the guides to support their business. So maybe you're an accountant, you do marketing, copywriting, anything that can help us to help the people that are seeking that change and that growth. Explorers membership, those are the people that are seeking the change and development. It's coming soon. So I will drop the links in this comment post where you can sign up to be the first to know about it. And I want to say that my guest today, she is a new guide in the membership. And I'm so happy and excited to share with you her and what she's up to, how she might be able to help you. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Kristina with a K Rowland, and she is a powerhouse expert on the art of manifestation, a master money mindset coach, and a self-made millionaire mama. I love moms. They're just superheroes in themselves. So that's amazing. Kristina's mission is to impact the world by modernizing ancient wisdom and simplifying universal principles to help people achieve their once impossible dreams. Living as an authentic example of what is possible when you activate the hidden power of the mind, Kristina has inspired and transformed thousands of lives worldwide. Kristina's unconventional style for teaching is practical, down to earth, and easy to digest so that anyone can benefit from her courses and social platforms. I'm so excited to share her with you and with the world because she is amazing. Welcome. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I am thrilled in my core to be having this conversation today.
Yay. I love that just how everything has transpired. So first of all, you were one of my absolute favorite colors. So I already commented on that earlier. And what I always like to start off is like, how do I know people? How did I get connected? Because what I'm creating with the Connected Soul Network and the membership is just the universe. We are all connected, first of all. Like that is why my show is called Connected. I've always believed that. And I see it happen time and time again. And the universe, higher power, whatever you call it, God, source, I call it the universe mostly. It's always working in our favor. And like you and I, we couldn't figure out, we're like, how did we get connected? And I truly believe, and you said the same, it's like the universe brought us together. Somehow or another, one of us sent a friend request. I don't know if it was me. I can't even remember now. And we got connected. And then instantly, I loved that you were in my inbox. And I want to talk about this because this is what the Connected Soul Network is about. You wanted to authentically, like you said in your bio, connect with me to like just get to know me and show support. And mine was the same. And I can feel that. Whereas people drop in my inbox and are trying to just come and like sell me stuff all the time. I was like, no, I want to get to know people, you know? So I loved that about you. And you were like, let's connect. And then when we got on the call, it was just like instant, so like soul connection, I guess. Can I call it that for you? Like,
Absolutely.
okay.
And I do practice what I call quantum networking.
Ooh, I love this. Tell me
Yeah.
more.
And so I do firmly believe that you are the product of that exercise for me. And this connection is that.
I love that. Okay, so quantum networking.
Yeah.
Love that term. So what I do is when I journal in the morning or at night, I'm putting it out into the universe. This is why I call myself an intuitive connector, because someone will say, hey, I'm looking for this in my business, or I'm a explorer and I'm looking for this type of guide or support. And then I just put it out to the universe. And I feel like the universe sends me those people. And it's just like, hey, in your inbox, here you go. Like someone that can support this person. And I'm like, holy crap. It's so amazing when you just let go and trust and like put the energetics out there, right?
That's quantum networking.
I love it.
I have a daily habit practice where I invite all of the people who are supposed to be in this season of my life or this reason of my life, or just in this time and space. We're supposed to share energy for one reason or another. I don't really care what the reason is. That's not my job. That's not my job to worry about.
Yeah.
It's just my job to be open to
Yes.
those.
I love that.
And it's so fun when you get to see the physical reality of your belief and embodiment and your mental energy. It's so nice.
Yeah. I call that the magic of the universe. And
Mhm.
we can see if you're listening to this and this is kind of new to you, I always like to break things down to, because you talked about this in your bio too, is like the practical. It's like those little signs and synchronicities. It's like you make a prayer and you ask for help or support on this, and then the next day somebody asks to help or support you with that specific thing. It's like all of the connections coming together.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yes. And it works with money too.
Oh, she's tying it in. I love it. See, this is why I like her. She gets it. So tell me first, let's get to know you a little bit better. What is it exactly that you do?
I do my best to live a stress-free life. That is what I am here to do. I am here to enjoy as much as possible and learn as much as possible in this human experience. And because I made that decision, there has been a process over the last 10 years where I have learned a couple of practices that have made that easier, that have made my life better, that have let me to experience that belief physically again in my physical reality in the same way that I had envisioned it using my mental energy. And after having achieved a certain amount of financial freedom, my husband and I, we are semi-retired at the age of 35. We have 3 kids. We travel at least once a month. We own property and we just live our lives without any money stress, and we get to do everything that we want to do. And I'm not satisfied with just my life being changed because of the dynamics of this understanding. I did a lot of work to put this together to live in the life that I live right now. And I don't want to be the only one who gets to benefit from that work. Every other person that benefits from that work makes it all that much more of an enjoyable process for me. I get to look at all of the hardships and say, oh man, was that worth it? And so that's what I do. I help people live their dreams.
So, what I heard of that is that you've created financial freedom for yourself. And with that comes also naturally time freedom. You said semi retired. And when we were talking earlier, you said, I created so much time freedom that I had all the time in the world. And what I realized is that I wanted to create more fulfillment for yourself. And so you have your business that you do money mindset work with entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs, or yeah, mostly entrepreneurs.
Mostly entrepreneurs. I do work with a couple of corporate babes also.
Okay.
Yeah, but mostly entrepreneurs.
Yes, or just business in general is the
Business.
focus.
Yeah.
And that you wanted to, like, you get to, what I see of it is you get to choose what you do with your time now. You're not chained to a 9 to 5. And, I mean, I'm pre-corporate or previous corporate world person where you have to wake up every day and go be on someone else's schedule and, do what they say. And now you don't have to do that because you've created this freedom for yourself.
Yes. I am a survivor of an abusive relationship with corporate America.
I'm sorry, that's so funny. I see that. I'm so grateful for my corporate experience. And I also am like, I want to create something different. So having that experience is helping me to create something different. And now you're helping people to do the same of what you've created for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then how did you, so you have a financial background. Tell me about that. And like, how did you take me through like how you got to where you are now with what you're doing in your personal business?
My origin story. I love this. It makes me feel like a superhero when I get to talk about this. My first career is actually in education. So although I do have a background in finance, my first career is in education, and I spent about 11 years working for a school district in a variety of different capacities. But I ended up in a really bad situation where I had a mountain of debt. I was doing the quote unquote normal thing. I had all kinds of student loan debt. I had credit cards. I had car payments. The only thing I didn't have was a mortgage, but that's because no one would give me one. All right. Because of all the other stuff that I had going on. And I made okay money. I made decent money. My husband and I, he was my boyfriend at the time, but we had decent money. He was a restaurant manager and I worked in education. So, we pulled in collectively about $50,000 a year. Now, this was a decade ago, so it was okay money then. It's that's a rough life today. But I was forced to go back to work 3 days after having a baby or lose my job. And that job fired me 3 months later anyway. And so here I am with the trauma of having my son on a Friday, having the weekend with him, because Friday was my last vacation day, having the weekend with him, and having to go back to work on Monday in a job that I hated. And I knew that they didn't want me there. That was the other thing. They were trying to get rid of me by using maternity leave to do that. And so for 3 months, I went to a job that I hated. I left my kids behind. He was my second. And I felt like I was in a war zone because I knew that they were gunning for me. Okay. So I have all of this trauma. And now, what do you do when the bills keep coming in and the money doesn't? And I had two options at that point. I could curse this company up one side and down the other over what they did to me. I could I could shout from the rooftops about how terrible and how awful and everything was. But what I chose to do was to figure out why I was in that position in the first place. And so I asked myself, Kristina, and I knew it was me because it was my voice. Why were you here? Why did you have to occupy this space? Why did this experience come into your reality? And the truth is, I had to go back to that job 3 days after having a baby because I couldn't afford not to. Because I had a pile of debt that needed to get repaid. I had made choices for the last however many years prior to that that set me up on this path, that made this reality real, that made this happen. And so I decided right then and there, I'm going to figure out how to never be in this situation again. I'm going to figure out if it's because I couldn't afford not to be in this situation. I'm going to figure out how to afford not to be ever in this situation again. Never to be in a position where somebody has so much control over my life that I am forced to do things that are outside of my value system. And so I started to learn about money. And I went the first place that anyone ever goes when they want to learn something, I went to Google. And it used to be the encyclopedia, and before that it was the library, and before that it was the wise man. And I figured out that just because the messenger changed doesn't mean that the message changed. So I dove in feet first into money practices, all of the practical side of everything: budgets, lists, accounts, systems, all of these different things. And I saw some success. I did. I saw some success. I was able to dig us out of the debt that we were in, which I felt particularly responsible for because a lot of it was due to my money habits. Which is how I ended up on the journey to where I am now. Is I saw a limited amount of success when it came to the practical things. Started executing on practical things. Budget. I say the word budget, people hear a 4-letter word, right? But I did what was necessary, and I got us back to even. But I couldn't do better. I could get us back to zero with the practical, but it was very hard to improve by using the practical. And that's when I started focusing on changing my money mindset and understanding the beliefs that I had around money and whether or not those beliefs served my end goals. I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up. They'll decide that something is true, which is debatable. It's semantics, right? It's true to you. But does it serve your end goal? If it doesn't, let's pick a different truth. And let's try that on for size and see if it produces results that we're more excited about. And I did that over and over and over again until I came up with some pretty kick-ass beliefs that produce the lifestyle that we live right now as 35-year-olds with 3 kids. And that's how I ended up here with you.
I love that. Oh my God, there's so much good stuff. Okay, so here's what I heard. I heard that you were working in the corporate and it wasn't a healthy relationship. It was unhealthy. You were making decisions out of scarcity almost because you had to. And I'm repeating this in this way specifically because I feel like so much of society can anybody watching this, or not anybody, but some people watching this might be able to relate. And I mean, I can for sure. And it's like making decisions based off of the lack of money. And when you have a lack of options, what does that do? That puts us in survival mode. It puts us outside of our values. And when we're not living to our values, I feel like that's when things can come in where we're depressed, we have anxiety because we're not being fulfilled in what's important to us and being able to lead with those values. So then I love when you said I can either, when the firing happened or you got let go, that I call it, and you probably know this too, is like I can be a victim and be like, oh, F this company, blah, blah, blah. But is that going to get you anywhere? Sure, be mad, express the emotions, but like being a victim isn't going to change your circumstances. So instead, you chose empowerment. And by choosing the empowerment, you said, what did I do? What choices did I make that led me here? How can I do differently? And what do I want to create? And that's when you identified that you wanted to be empowered with money. And so you started with the practical things, which is what society tells us and teaches us. You see a lot of the Dave Ramsey stuff out there, like sell everything you have to get all your debt paid off, blah, blah, blah. And
I call them the Weight Watchers of money.
The Weight Watchers of money. I love that. And I'm not knocking it. I've seen a lot of people that have used Dave Ramsey stuff and it's helped them. But if you want to create even like you want to push your money ceiling, because like you said, I got your money ceiling was neutral. Like you were talking about that yesterday when we talked, it was neutral. You got yourself to a zero balance where you were just there. But you're like, hey, but I want to get up here. Like you were down here, then you got here, and now you want to be up here.
Yes.
That's where the beliefs, like your money mindset, is so crucial. And we don't talk about this enough in society unless you are, or you have come to the world of personal development. And if you're watching this, I'm now talking to you because you are here for this reason, because you want better for yourself and you want to learn about it. And so exploring your beliefs is actually the root cause of everything. And I mean, you could make a ton of money, but if you haven't changed your beliefs, somehow or another, you will find a way to lose that money.
Yes.
Something will pop up in your space, like the quantum, energetics of it, that all of a sudden you get in a car accident and you owe $30,000 because you have to get a new car or something like that. Like your money will go unless you stop and take the time to look at the belief. So I just wanted to recap your story and how I heard it, and it's awesome. And now you have created like that wealth for yourself. Like yesterday, we were on a call, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to the beach after this." It's like, I don't even know what time it was, but you're like, that's what we're going to do today. And I'm like, I love it. Like you have that time and financial freedom now, all because of
Yeah.
the beliefs, and you have the tools. So what I love about what you do, it's not only do you work on the beliefs, but you actually do have all the practical tools to merge them together to really help people to change their financial situation in their life.
Yes. And that's because that's where I started was I decided I was going to career pivot. I wasn't going to be in education anymore because I was wildly burnt out on that process and the politics and everything that came along with that. And I decided to go into finance. I decided that the easiest way for me to figure this thing out would be to go through the process as if I was going to teach somebody else. And I was my first client. I went through that process. I learned as much as I could. I got all the licensing. I'm like licensed up to my eyeballs when it comes to that stuff. But again, it got me back to neutral. And I am so glad that the resource that is Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman or Tony Robbins or whoever it is, that it resonates with somebody when it comes to money. I'm so glad they have those tools available for them if that is what they need, because those were the tools that I used once upon a time until those tools didn't, they got me where I was, but they weren't going to get me any further. Right.
Right.
And one of the things that I noticed about myself and why those tools weren't serving me so much anymore was that it was still hard to make and have money.
Yeah.
And I decided that I wanted to live a life of ease. And not from a lazy perspective. I'm not a lazy person. I just don't believe that there should be friction in my life.
Yeah.
Because friction causes stress. Stress causes dis-ease in your body, and it will shorten the human experience that you're currently participating in. We know that. That's science. We understand. Dis-ease, disease, shortens lives.
Yeah.
I want to get the most juice that there is to squeeze out of what I believe is maybe, and I could be wrong, but I'm gonna hedge my bets, and I'm gonna act as if this is my one go at this thing. And if I get another one, huzzah, beautiful! I'm so excited about it. But if this is my one go around this human experience, I want it to be as juicy as possible. I want it to last as long as I'm having fun. And so those tools didn't serve me to get to where I wanted to go next.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I think it's really important to stop for a minute with what you just said, because I want to address when you said, I want to create, have, and be a life of ease, fun, and joy. Because that's also very important for me. I have it like written down over here that I'm always looking. Because what I've also known, just as a side note, is that when I am in the flow of ease, fun, and joy, everything around me is working in synchronistic magic. Like, I mean, people like you and I just meeting, and then, you joined my membership, and now I'm sharing with you with the world. It's like all these things can be so easy. And I want to just highlight this because society, and probably maybe if you're watching this, your parents or somebody else has told you that it's hard to make money, and that's a belief. And if you're triggered by this right now, that is great, actually, because it's information and data for you to stop and say, what do I have to look at there? Like maybe I have that belief, because if you're going, oh yeah, maybe it's easy for you because blah 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 blah, it can be easy for people too. And that's what I want to share with people, is that they can also have it, but that's where it's so important. What you do and what you're helping to people do is to look at those beliefs, because I have been decompressing, I don't know what the word to call it, but like peeling the onion layer back on this belief, because it runs hard in what I was ingrained with, is like you have to work hard to make money. Money doesn't grow on trees, blah blah blah.
Which is such a crock of shit, because it's a cotton product.
Nah, she's like getting literal over here. Like
I'm so dead serious.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a cotton product.
So it literally does. It does
literally does grow on trees.
I have never heard anybody say that. So I'm loving it so much.
And so that's what I love, is that for every belief that we have, there's something out there that challenges that belief in the direction that we want to go.
Yeah.
There's nothing under the sun. Someone out there right now is experiencing the life that you want to live. And the only difference, because it's not DNA, we share 99.99999% of the same DNA. It's not resources, we live in the same world. It's what they believe and what they do with the tools that they were given.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything in life is.
And I think that's so hopeful, right? Like, what's the alternative? That your life is like this right now, and it's supposed to be that way, and it's supposed to be that way forever, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't know, but that idea makes me want to jump off a bridge, maybe take a couple of people with me. I would much rather it be that if I can imagine it here, I already have all the tools that I need.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't decided to use them that way yet, but I could at any point in time.
Yeah. Which would be like the quantum leap.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It doesn't have to be 35 steps. I can get from where I want to where I want to go. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, okay, I'm coming off of an event in Phoenix last week. I went to Phoenix. I got invited by a friend to go to this marketing and branding event. And I was coming back from Las Vegas 2 days before I went to this event. And as I'm driving my mom back to the airport, because she watched my daughter while my husband and I and our boys were in Vegas at a music festival, my mom says to me, as I'm driving her back, she says, "Can't you just come home for like 1 day and hang out with me?" Like, you know what, Mom? I can do that. And I just decided that I can do that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the people that I met while I was out in Phoenix has contracted me to come and help her business with money mindset, herself and her employees. She's making it part of their benefits package, is for them to have access to me and the course that I have. And so she's paid for my flight, because that's part of the package. And I'm going to go and I'm going to do a live in-person session there to kick off with them. And one of the options when I'm booking my flights is to take an overnight stay layover in the city where my mom lives.
I love that.
So I'm leaving tomorrow to go back. I'll be there for the day to get the work done. I'll fly into the city where my mom lives, and I won't fly out of there until Friday evening. Okay, so I'll have almost a full 24 hours with my mom.
I love that. You manifested it just by making the decision.
Can you just spend a day with me? And when I told her that, she said, next time I'm going to ask for a week. And I told her, you should.
We can have it all. Yeah.
Because you can have whatever you decide to have, you just have to know how to play that game.
Yeah. Well, and I think what stops people from really truly believing that is their baggage, which is most of the time beliefs.
And two beliefs cannot occupy the same place at the same time.
Oh, that's interesting.
It creates what we call in the psychological world cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Okay. And cognitive dissonance is when you have two opposing forces at work vying for the same space. And because of how our brains are built, they're going to default to the belief that has already existed in that space because it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's already wired in. We already know what it feels like. And so it feels safe. And it's going to take work to replace that with something else. So even if we give our brains a different idea, there's a process by which to remove and replace those old beliefs so that the new ones have room to exist.
So
And
how do
that's
we do that? How do people do that then? That's when it comes to you, right?
That's when it comes to me. So this is where the art and the science of manifestation come together. So if we understand how the brain works, we can, because it's a closed system, all systems have operations, right? If you look at a computer cannot run software that it hasn't downloaded, right? If it doesn't exist inside of the closed system, it might exist in other computers, right? But if it doesn't exist inside of that closed system, it cannot be run. This is why some people have and some people don't. This is why some people can and some people can't. This is why Henry Ford said, "He who believes he can and he who believes he can't are both right."
Yep.
So we have to first identify what the belief is that we're holding on to and evaluate it. And here's a little bit of nuance. We do not judge the belief. We do not judge the tools that we use while they were the only tools that we had at our disposal. Right? We don't feel guilty. I refuse to feel guilty about the debt that I had. It says nothing about me as a person. It was the tool that I had in the situation that I was in that allowed me to survive. And I found new tools that I like using better. So I don't need that one anymore. I'm going to use this one instead. But I'm not going to create any emotional attachment to that tool. I'm also not going to create any emotional attachment to the beliefs that I have had and that I am replacing. Because guess what? Maybe this is the belief that I have right now. I reserve the right to find a better one that's going to serve my goals faster, easier, more joyfully, and more happily later in the future, should I ever find them.
I love that.
And I'm going to bless the beliefs that I have right now and be grateful for them, even understanding that they might not be the best ones. They're just the best ones that I have right now. So we have to first identify, but we can't feel guilty. We do not judge. And there's a simple process by which I help people do this. Usually when we're going wrong when it comes to money, it has to do with an insecurity that we accepted or a belief that we accepted that makes us feel insecure prior to the age of 7. That's another conversation for another time, but it is prior to the age of 7. So this was not something that we picked for ourselves consciously. This was a subconscious manifestation. And that insecurity is producing results. If we can figure out what that insecurity is, it is a belief. And we give ourselves evidence of the contrary. We give ourselves evidence of the contrary because your brain works best with evidence. And with enough evidence to the contrary, your brain will quickly accept a new truth. And you'll start experiencing that new truth in your life. I've had clients, they had enough evidence to reach their tipping point. It's different for everybody within 12 hours. I have clients that it's maybe taken them 2 months because their brain needed more evidence. And that's where habits come into play.
I love that you tied habits in there because that's
Yes,
super
that's where
important.
habits come into play, because every time you execute on a habit that supports a new belief, you're casting a vote in favor of that new belief inside of your own system.
Makes sense. I love it. I love it. I love the way that you broke it down. So, like, you know, I have a lot of people come on and everybody's talking about the same thing because it's all beliefs, right? It comes down to beliefs, which happened 0 to 7, trauma. You're right. That's a whole nother topic that we could talk about. But what you're doing is you're helping people to change these beliefs to create more money in their lives by their beliefs. And specifically, the reason why we're here today is because you have an upcoming program that you are launching. It's going to be in the beta phase, which people should always be excited when they hear the beta phase. Because for me, I'm like, oh, it's new and maybe it's going to have a discount because it's a testing group, right? And I know we want to talk specifically about that because you're not doing beta concepts, you are doing proven strategic concepts that get results, but you're just trying it in a new way, which is why it's beta. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did get that right, and that is a detail that I appreciate, you explaining the nuance on that. I have been doing one-on-one coaching in this area for more than a decade. It's like a decade and a half. But it's just moving too slow as far as the impact that I would like to make by onesie and twosieing this. And those might not be words, but that's how I feel. I'm like, I feel like, oh my gosh, this is going too slow. You're going to run out of time before you reach all of the people that you were supposed to touch. And so I have to make a change. Even if that is a little bit more uncomfortable for me. I am by my nature an introvert, so one-on-one works really well. But I'm going to start offering a group program in addition to my one-on-one that I have been doing this whole time. And so the process of delivering the information, that's what makes it the beta. I've never done a group before. Now, there are one-on-one aspects in the group, of course, because this is a sensitive subject and there are going to be some things that are highly personal, that it's going to be good to have one-on-one conversations instead of announcing it to the entire cohort. Yeah, so that's the beta part of this process.
Okay, I love that. So I think that's important because beta can mean something different to everybody. So I always like to define and be specific because beta could mean, hey, I'm testing out a new concept. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about that specifically.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the program. Do you have a name yet? What is it going to, we'll get the details, but also what is it going to cover and how is it, what are the results and benefits of how it's going to help people who
Sure.
come into it?
So this course is going to be called Make It Make Sense.
I like it.
And it starts on November 29th, 2022. I don't know when someone might see this interview, so I'm going to be very specific.
Good job.
This is when it starts. It's going to run for 5 weeks. And this beta is going to be at an extreme discount. And its space is very limited. It won't be more than probably 15 people. And here's why. Because this is a beta process for me, I still want to make sure that I have enough bandwidth to make adjustments or change or meet people where they are if it should come up during this process. So it's going to be a heavy discount. It is very, very limited. It's going to be by application only. Okay. And the link is going to be available for that application. All selections are going to be made by the end of this week. So within the next 7 days, everyone's going to be selected because there's some pre-work. Okay. So what the course is 5 weeks, one Zoom group call every single week for 45 minutes. The first 30 minutes is going to be very detailed, specific instruction with actionable steps. And 15 minutes of question and answer to make sure that we're all on the same page and we know what to do from 1 week to the next. There's no confusion. So we can't have any confusion if we're expecting results. There's a little bit of pre-work that I mentioned. The pre-work is a values determination test. So everyone's going to start with a values determination test. Being true to your values and living in alignment with your values and setting up your goals and your processes in alignment with that is going to put your results in light speed. It's hyperspeed, it's beam me up, Scotty. It is all of those things when you make sure that that you understand what those values are so that you can incorporate them into the process, because that eliminates friction. Okay. Everyone's going to get a one-on-one. These are the two things that are one-on-one: a financial audit where we go through where you are, because it's very difficult to program a GPS without a point A and a point B. So we have to know where we are right now. And that's included. And the second one-on-one is going to be a breakout session to talk about fears, past trauma, and help identify what those things are so that we can remove them and replace them with a belief that's going to better serve our end goal. And that is what's going to all be included. Okay. And the result that people can expect for this. And this is not beta. These are the results that they can expect after more than a decade of doing this, is to have a more abundant mindset when it comes to money. A more abundant mindset. Now, I don't know where we're starting from. For some people, it's going to be like me, and we just need to get to neutral because we had a very negative. Some people, they're starting off from neutral. They can move but the goal is to move the needle positively.
From wherever you were starting.
From wherever you're starting. We start where we stand, and we don't feel bad about it. We start where we stand. We're going to get rid of some fear and some emotional trauma. That is just going to be gone. We're not going to go back to it. We're going to have a clear, kick-ass pathway forward. Free of any confusion, free of any worry. We know what we're going to do, and we're excited about it. And the last thing is a magnetic money aura, with the understanding that when you're living in alignment with these values and you have a clear, concise mental picture of where you're supposed to go, you don't need friction through that process, and money can be easy for you.
And you just attract it. You're magnetic. Yes.
And a lot of that has to do with, and this is I'm going to throw this one in for free. A lot of that is being open to money coming from places that you didn't expect it to. Mm-hmm. Because I promise you, money, it's called currency for a reason. It's moving. And it's trying to find its way to someone. And most people are just so tied up in, this is the one thing I do that makes money, that they never even money doesn't have access to them by any other means.
Yeah, for multiple reasons. One, because they haven't opened to the avenues of it, but also two, because they've closed off their thoughts, their minds, and their belief to it as well. Or that it can't come so easily, which is it goes back to a belief. I've experienced this. It's like I took a couple months off where I was just reassessing business, and I asked the universe to support me in that. And I felt like I was aligned in taking those months off. That's what my coach at the time had told me I needed to do because I was in overwhelm and burnout. And I did. And like money came in the craziest ways. Like it was maybe a gift from somebody, or you know what I mean? Like I just said, however it comes, surprise me. I'm excited. Woohoo. And you have to be open to receiving it and accepting it and being grateful for it in whatever way that it comes to.
I love that. Surprise me.
Surprise me. I said, money surprises me financially daily. However that comes, I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it comes in random ways. One day I got $10 in the mail. Like I was like, well, I don't even know what this is from, but it was like this card for $10. And I was like, thank you. Like,
Who cares?
Yeah.
Thank you. Send another, send 5 more. I'm here for it, right?
100.
And what that really comes down to is understanding the how is not my problem.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That's not my responsibility.
Yep.
I'm responsible for X, Y, and Z. I'm not responsible for A, B, C. And I'm not going to try and do A, B, C work. I'm going to do X, Y, Z work because that is what I'm responsible for. Yep. And so long as I do what I'm responsible for, I trust that God, source, universe, whatever you call it, is going to do their part of it. Because there are natural laws that govern that. And it's not a question. The universe cannot act outside of its own laws.
Yeah.
And you know, if you believe in God, God cannot act outside of its own nature. The universe cannot act outside of its own natural laws. And so if that is true, and therefore we understand the laws, we apply the laws, we're going to get the results that the laws allow for.
I'm like, we have to have another live on the laws.
Oh gosh. I could go off.
I know. That's why I'm like, let's do another one. Okay, we'll schedule that. For real. I have been wanting to do that actually. And it's funny because I Google it and I've gotten books on it, but there's not a lot of like information that is like, here's the laws and here's how they work. So I would love to, we'll get that set up.
I'm here for it. I'm happy to do that.
Done and done. Okay, so I want to know who's a good fit for the program.
Who's a good fit?
Because you
felt in your guts listening to this. Here's what it comes down to. If it's and we align with this from a previous conversation. If it's not a resounding yes, then I want it to be a no.
Yes, I love that. It's not hell yes, it's no.
Yes. Okay. But if you felt in your guts that you know that there is a problem in your life when it comes to making or keeping money, and you believe that I can help you fix it, put in an application.
So everybody should put in an application. Do they have to have a business? I ask that because I have the 2 groups, right? The explorers may just be consuming content, not business owners. They might be a 9-to-5er. And then of course I have the guides who are business owners. So does it matter? I just want to clarify.
It doesn't matter. They don't have to have a business. I'm looking for people with whom I am heart aligned. We don't look the same. We don't live in the same area necessarily. We don't work in the same industry or profession. Maybe they're an entrepreneur, maybe they're not. All of that doesn't matter. Did my heart, do we share the same heart? Those are the people that I want to work with. And this is not a one and done either. Okay. And so the reason I think everyone should put in an application if they feel that way is because I'm going to start another one in January. And I'm going to start another one and another one and another one. And I am down this path of catch as many people as I possibly can and help them improve their human experience. So even if it's a not right now, it's an eventually we're gonna get the damn thing done together.
I love it. Okay, cool. Is there anything else that you want to add that I may not have asked you?
Ooh. Well, my favorite color is blue, but other than that, no, I think we're good.
I love that. Okay. So we got the results, we got the benefits, we got who's a good fit. Starts November 29th. Application link will be in the caption or comment. It just depends which platform you're watching this on. And if people want to connect with you to maybe follow you and they say, oh, the program's not a good fit for right now, but I like this girl and I want to connect with her, where should they find you?
Yes, awesome. If they want to be entertained, they can find me on TikTok. And if they want to connect, find me on Instagram. Both of my handles are the same in either of those. It's @_the_pretty_penny. I'm sure we'll put that in the caption as well. And at any of the links in my bio, there's a way to schedule to have a one-on-one consultation. But I do put out an obscene amount of free content around this particular subject. So even if that's what we're looking for right now, I would be so happy to have you in that community as well.
Awesome. And so if people have questions, they can reach out to you at Instagram or on Instagram. And if you're not on Instagram for some reason and you're watching this, message me. I'll get you connected with her. And then we will have the application. So strongly encourage, if you are interested at all, just put in an application. Not everybody is going to be accepted. Unfortunately, I will just say that, like, don't be upset if you aren't, because there'll be another opportunity in the future. Maybe it's just not the right time. I don't know. I'm a universal person, so I'm always like divine timing for everything. But if you like Kristina and you resonate with her and you want to hang out more, I don't think I follow you on TikTok yet. So now I'm like, oh my God, entertained. I'm there. Sign me up. I think I follow you on Instagram already. So
that's much more curated. It's, it follows the Instagram model, that's for sure. But I have so much fun over on TikTok.
Oh my gosh, I love it. TikTok is a crazy place to be. I mean, you don't even need to go to like college anymore. Just go to TikTok and you'll learn things that like can change your life that you never knew about.
My husband and I were talking about this. He learned something new. He's been playing guitar for more than 20 years. He learned something new about guitar today from TikTok. It's like, babe, check it out. I learned this thing. Like, why do we even need college?
It's so cool.
YouTube.
The one thing I did want to ask you, because you have a lot of financial background. We didn't even talk about that. So like financial planner, right?
Yes.
That's the one thing I missed earlier. I was so caught up in the stories and like the tactics and stuff. I was like, oh, tell me more, that I totally forgot to ask you that. So let's just cover that real quick and then we'll wrap it up. Tell me what your actual like background experience of the financial practical side is, just so that.
Yeah. So I'm fully licensed financial industry. I apprenticed with a broker for about 3 years before I decided to open up my own office. Okay, to get all the licensing required in order for me to be a branch manager and to oversee other people. We are a boutique brokerage firm, so we really get to pick who we work with. Because I don't work for anybody else, I don't have any quotas, I don't have any minimums when it comes to opening up the kind of accounts that are going to allow people to take the mental energy and make it a physical reality. That's still necessary. So doing the mind work is the first step and it's the linchpin. But setting something up in the physical reality to make room for the abundance that you expect, that is a part of the success process, right? So I'm licensed in all 50 states. My team, we have an agency of about 70 people across 17 different states, and everything is pretty much done remotely at this point. But our team can help people get all of the physical setup that's going to support all of their new beliefs that they have about money as well, if they so choose. It's not an obligation. Like I said, if it's not an absolutely heck yes, I want to do this, then we would rather it be a no. Just putting that out there again, if I didn't say it enough times. But as a boutique brokerage, we work with probably 12 different investment companies and things like this. So we can find and put together the right resources for every individual on a customized basis to make sure that their ultimate dream is supported in the physical as well and in the practical as well.
I love that. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we talked about it, because you kind of mentioned it, but I was like, but we didn't get into it. And I know that for some people that is extremely important. And also it just shows a plethora of what your skills involve. So you had mentioned to me when we were speaking about setting this up is like, you noticed in your clients that were investing that people who had a great money mindset we're having greater success overall. And that's where you're kind of like, I need to bring this to the people because you have witnessed it in your financial business. And so you're able to hold both spaces for people. Let me support you while you change your beliefs, and let me get you set up so that you have your money working for you, not just, hanging out in a savings account or a checking account just sitting there collecting a little bit of interest. Let's make it like really be held. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, cool. Thank you. So that's sorry I didn't get that earlier, people, but it's here now. It's here now. All right. Well, unless you have anything else to add, I'll go ahead and wrap it up.
I would like to add, thank you so much for sharing this energy in this space with me today. I thoroughly enjoy it. I am jazzed out of my brain to have had this conversation, and I'm so excited about working together in the future.
I know, me too. I'm so excited you decided to join us in the membership. So, with that being said, if you're watching this and you're like, I love this, I want more of it, I want to be in this community, I want to be surrounded by these people, I have created the Connected Soul Network membership. The Guides membership is open. Guides are people that are like a Kristina, that have something to share, to teach, to coach, to heal, that can help support the explorers. Explorers are everyone that is just seeking betterment in their life in whatever aspect or category that might be. And guides are also explorers. The Explorers membership is going to be open next week after the event. The next Call to Connect event, yay, it's coming November 16th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that will be online. I will drop the links for both of those in there, along with all of Kristina's links as well. And if anyone has questions, drop them in the chat. We will monitor and make sure we get some answers to you. And I will connect all of Kristina's information in there. Thank you so much for taking the time today and meeting with me and sharing your soul gifts and your soul calling with the world. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. I'll speak for everybody.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone listening. I hope that whatever is going on in your life is a perfect and shining example of where you're going, and you're just unleashing your unique gift upon the world.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for sending us off with that. Have an amazing day.